Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about the need for backup charging handles and buy them now when things are relatively calm, rather than when Democrats are like in the middle of talking about trying to ban this, that, and the other thing. So I got two charging handles here with a lot of miles on it. This one over here, there's a little catch over here. Well, that completely fell out. Right, so basically the roll pin fell out of this, and then who knows where the parts went flying. Okay, so basically I just changed it out. These things are like $10 to $15 cheap. And here I got another one. This one just broke just a couple of days ago, and you can see the crack right there. Right, you see how that's got a crack right there. So you can see how that's bent. There you go, went right across. So that's probably at least 10,000 rounds on the gun that I was shooting with this charging handle. So I mean, yeah, basically it is a high stress point. As you charge. I mean, because it's not just that you use a charging handle to to put around the chamber or lock the gun open, but we're constantly checking if the gun is not loaded. So every time I put the gun down, before I put it down, I check it to make sure it's not loaded. Next time I pick it up, I check it to make sure it's not loaded. So I'm constantly working that charging handle. So something that gets a lot of use. AR-15s are not designed to be the most durable guns in the world. They're designed to be light guns that are very versatile for immediate use. Okay, so it's not it's not a gun that was designed so that you can use it every day and keep using it like 20, 30 years from now. It's a gun that was designed for immediate use, with the intention that, hey, when stuff breaks, you got plenty of parts available in order to fix your gun. So, I've done videos on this before. Always have backup trigger groups. This is the ALG. I did a video just on this. I typically, AR triggers are rated for about 5,000 rounds. I usually get closer to about 10,000 rounds. But by the time I get 10,000 rounds, yeah, I've definitely worn out the trigger. It usually will just it'll start locking up on you. So, backup trigger. You want to get yourself, first of all, let's say this. The best backup for an AR-15 is another AR-15. All right, so you always want to have two AR-15s minimum. Okay. So then you want to have a backup bolt, like I got here. All right, just at least one, but many is better. More is always better, right? And then here I have the entire carrier, and then I just bought a backup bolt itself, because the parts that are likely to break are usually in the bolt itself, which is the firing pin, extractor, the cam. So basically, get yourself at least one of these. But you can get yourself at least 2 or 3 of these, because it's not likely that the bolt carrier itself is going to break. It's more likely that the bolt and the things that attach to the bolt are going to break. Okay, so get a couple of these things. Get yourself a lost and broken parts kit. This has like all sorts of stuff in there, gas rings, all sorts of stuff that you're likely to break. The good thing about having stuff like this is, like, if the gas rings wear out or the extractor breaks, I don't have to go into this, which is complete. I can just pull out the parts that I use to get a bunch of this stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the charging handles, because that's what the focus of this video is. I usually, I have bought a couple of these, right? So have a couple of these, mil spec $10 ones, cheap. But now what I've been doing lately, because on some of my guns I've been using the magnifier behind the optic. When you have the magnifier on, it can be a little bit hard to get your hands in there to reach the charging handle, right? So what I find is, if I have like either a variable scope or a magnifier, basically I use the ambidextrous charging handles that are a bit larger. Now, if you don't have a large scope on this, and you have the larger charging handle, sometimes it can snag on stuff. However, I find that when you have the bigger scopes up here, that stick out a little bit more anyway, you're less likely to snag. But that's something to be aware of, right? So, so as you can see here, this is a lot easier to grab and work when you got a magnifier in the back. So with this one over here, I've got the standard mil spec charging handle, which, like I said, it's a little hard to get in there. So what I do is I ordered some extra ambidextrous, you know, larger size charging handles. I got these from Optical Planets. From this one's from Tribe. They're like $30, so it's not like, you know, I mean, they do got like the $100 ones. I don't know if they're necessarily that much better. The $30 ones seem to be working fine for me. I've been using one of these for at least 2 years on my AR with a variable scope on it. Works fine. So what I'm going to do now is, okay, so here I've got, you know, I want to basically change out this charging handle, right? So I'm going to pull that pin out, open this up. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out. All right, so what I'm going to do is this charging handle is now going to go into my box of spare parts, right? So now I got an extra charging handle. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to put the ambidextrous one in there. Put this on there. So this is a way of getting, you know, a spare charging handle, right? Now I got the ambidextrous one, which is going to work great with the magnifier here. And now this, the one that I just took out, which is this one, you know, that's going to go into my box of spare parts in case I ever need another charging handle, you know, in case one of these other ones break. Okay, so so that's an idea, you know. You know, instead of buying, I mean, I would definitely buy like at least one of these $10 ones. But if you're planning to put a larger scope on your AR, you're probably going to need a larger charging handle. So rather than just buy a spare one of these, you can get one of these and then use your original as the spare. So hope this video was useful to you guys. I just wanted to give you guys a different perspective and basically some proof that charging handles break. I'm really good at breaking things. I'm a master at breaking things. That's like one of my special skills. So, you know, one of the things I tell people is, you know, when you want to get advice, you know, I mean, talk to lots of people, but also talk to the people that break guns, because people that break guns, you know, they have a very different perspective. You know, people that shoot guns a lot and break them are gonna come at things from a very different perspective. You know, one of the things that sometimes people say is, hey, why don't you just get an AK? I break AKs too. Yeah, it might take twice as long or 3 times long to break an AK, but eventually you will get there. The issue, like with an AR, let's say I break the bolt, right? I pull the bolt. Let's say the bolt breaks. I just pull that out, take this one, throw this back in there. Guns are up and running. With an AK, if you break your bolt, basically, you know, you can't just throw in another bolt and have the gun work. The way the AK needs to be headspaced. So the way you headspace an AK is you have to take the barrel pin out and move the barrel back and forth to get the right head spacing. And I have no idea how to do it. I mean, I've seen videos how to do it, but, you know, I mean, I've never actually done it. If ever it came down to it, I'd probably send my AK out to have somebody do it, because I don't have the gauges and stuff like that. But with an AR, you just when your AR breaks, you just take another bolt and just throw it in there, and the gun's up and running. Okay, so so when people say, hey, just get an AK, you know, it'll never break, that's not true. If your AK doesn't break, you don't shoot it enough. Okay, you know, those are my thoughts on that, because I've broken AKs. And the problem with AKs is when they break, they're a little harder to fix. ARs break more often, but when they do break, they're easier to fix. So just some ideas for you guys. If you guys have some comments, please put them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys, get some different ideas, you know, even if it's contrary to what I'm saying, that's fine. You know, we can have a discussion. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. We'll talk soon.